How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lone Wolf, and today I'm going to go and do a mission on Big Salmon Peak called Landslide in the Highway. It's a bit of an easy mission, to be honest. There's obviously a roadblock. You've got to go and get two pieces of wood. You can see from the route I've drawn, that's the piece of wood I'm going to go and get, but you can see all the other yellow squares on the map is the various other places you can grab some wood from. But yeah, I mean, this one seems to be not only on the way, but you'll see this thing, there's something something it can finally do. The reason the video is a bit longer for sort of this type of mission, probably only take me less than 10 minutes normally. Yeah, I ended up kind of testing this Bandit out a little bit on some of the roads, on some of the snowy roads and stuff. I tried it with a chain, with the muds. I also ended up bringing a dolphin along just for comparison, see how they're going together. This thing really does not turn well at all. Pretty bad for understeering. You'd think, considering it's got two lots of axles that are steering, you'd think it'd find some kind of grip, but imagine if it only had one axle. Yeah, well, it didn't go too well, but then again, it could have gone a hell of a lot worse. I've been pretty successfully, to be honest, using them lampposts to like swing my way around corners. To be fair, when you go in pretty fast in one of these trucks, it's never really going to go well with that lamppost, but particularly on stuff like the collobs, that Cat 770G, I did a pretty nice little drift around the corner earlier using that technique. Went pretty well. Goddamn horse of a vehicle. Gotta say hello. Yeah, as for this, like, well, for one, on these mountain roads, I was messing around with a few things tonight, the Cat 770G being one of them, which you should see in a minute, kind of, yeah, after I'd finished playing with it. That Cat 770G can't even get up some of the hills on this game that are on the road, like the icy hills. Forget the big fat steep hills with snow and that. I've not tried them yet. It probably would get up them, but yeah, it's just a bit I don't know, they need to seriously do something with the tyres in this game, either increase the grip on some of the other tyres or add chained to everything, because yeah, even the forklift, to be fair, the forklift did manage to get up the icy hill on its own, but it was a little bit iffy. It definitely went pretty slow, but it did get up there, to be fair. Whereas yeah, the 770G was having no chat, even trying to winch it to stuff. It was fighting me. In fact, in the end, I sent in a goddamn horse with a vehicle, and he towed it up the hill. And there it is. That was one of the attempts at trying to swing around a lamppost. Does have its issues, I'll give it that. I'm surprised, to be honest, that Cat 770G is only rear-wheel drive. So anyway, this is just past there. The roadblock in the road is like, yeah, pretty standard issue, just some rocks in the way. There is, like, if I double back on myself, there is kind of a little convoluted route through the mountains to get around this, but I was eyeballing this up, and I just thought, sod it, we'll see. You never know. And to be fair, went better than I thought. I thought it'd just nudge its kind of nose on that first rock and not even make its way up there. It's getting a little bit stuck now, but as you'll see as later on, I've kind of gone a little bit too far over to the left that time, like, so it could have been a smoother run if I'd stuck to the right a little bit more. But again, actually, I just reversed, turned it a little bit, got up there, getting down this side. You certainly want to go a little bit slow and be a little bit careful. Yeah, overall, I was pretty happy with that. I was almost kind of like, well, that's cool. I don't need to unblock the road anymore. I might just have that as my new route. But then in the end, took a bit of persuading myself, but yeah, I decided just to complete the mission because I can drive over that whether those rocks are there or not. But I suppose at some point it'll give me some kind of situation where I'll have a vehicle that can't drive over this section, and it'll be pretty handy just to have the road cleared already. So yeah, while I was here, I fancied going back the other way just to see, make sure it wasn't just a lucky run. Got a bit keen jumping off there. Oh god damn it! Tried to fling a winch out in time, but nope. So, I mean, it gets over there, but yeah, obviously, as you can see, I did tip. So while I tipped, I went back to the garage, got another same Bandit with the mud tyres on, and again, I was pretty impressed. This is the issue, though, with the muds. It's not like, it got up there pretty nice. I mean, I've got 8 tyres pushing in the snow still, so it got the nose up there. But yeah, slide, like, they just don't stick to the rocks very well, so if it was like a nice, big, flat, smooth rock, you'd be alright, but the fact that it's tilting off to one side, I was just slipping along. Yeah, as soon as you accelerate or anything, it just wheel spins and zips you off to the way it's leaning. And yeah, I rolled again, sending the goddamn professional. He saves the day as usual. I should have just had one there in the first place. That was the mistake I made the first time I tipped, you see, when I had the chained on. If I had a loafer there, would have been back and ready to go in seconds. It kind of worked out alright that time though, because I did want to go back and get some muds. But yeah, overall they did pretty nicely. I got up there once I kind of found the best line, cutting over those rocks. I stayed over to the right as much as I could so it wouldn't start scooting down the rock to the left, and yeah, we managed to get over there. So it's hills like this though where I can pretty much bet money now that the Cat 770G wouldn't get up here from a cold start. Anyway, sometimes if you get a run up, you can get certain vehicles up, but I mean this was still struggling even with the muds. I tried it. Yeah, I'm sure it was this truck. I tried driving up there earlier, but I purposely stopped just so I didn't have any run up or momentum to carry me going. And yeah, it just wheel span basically. So the best thing to do if you get yourself in that situation is try and wheel spin your way over to either side of the road. And there's a little bit of snow, even if there's barriers there, you can usually see there's a little bit of snow just running along the edge of the road. That if you can get a tyre in that, it's usually not too bad. So yeah, that thing got back over. So again, it's pretty good as a little possible route. I thought it'd be a hell of a lot more trollish, but it seems relatively doable. So anyway, now I'm kind of back on track, back to the mission. I'm just cutting across again, and I'm going to go and grab some wood. That's definitely what she said. Yeah, you're best off going a little bit slow down out of the side, because there is a little ditch before you get to the road, and if you yeah, you could go a bit mad down there, you'll roll it. Ask me how I know. A friend told me, I swear. Of course, Rockman is back, but yeah, to be fair, he's calmed down on the size of these rocks, so they're not too bad now. Well, they'll do. So anyway, yeah, after you cut over that rock and that, but for the we're off to go and get some wood now. Just follow the road all the way down, and then I'm going to turn. You can go either way. If I kind of carried on a little bit, I could cut along the train tracks through the factory, or go this way. And yeah, I've been down this way before. There's a couple of things. I got a haunted tree that tried to lunge at me as soon as I went down there. But yeah, as you can see, sadly, with the Bandit, even with the muds, it's just horrifically slow. There just seems to be some pretty high, kind of like a speed cap really, on these muds. When you get into like harsh terrain, anyway, obviously going on the roads and stuff, it's pretty normal. But it doesn't take a lot to restrict them back to essentially low range speeds. And I believe at some point I keep switching between like the auto, the high range and the low range, just to see the differences with fuel and stuff. To be honest, I think in auto it sits at, is it about 6 or 7, it sort of flickers, maybe the odd 8. In low range I think it was around 5 or 6, again it might blip up to 7 here and there. I believe there was a tiny bit more speed though in auto, so overall fuel cost wise, like it's costing 1 or 2 more litres a minute, but if I'm going a little bit faster, not only am I going a little bit faster, but if you do come across any little patches where the snow or the mud calms down, you get like a little burst of speed in auto, whereas in low, like you're already at the maximum rev range it's going to give you, so even if you do find those little patches where you can get a little boost, yeah, it's just already doing what it's doing. So there's that and other reasons why I prefer auto. I've also got instant access to reverse if I'm just in the auto gear, but again, that's just me personally. Obviously each to their own, whatever floats your boat. Yeah, so I just went past that warehouse. That's where I've got to grab the wood from, and now as you can see, again, got a bit distracted. Goddamn horse of a vehicle just sitting there. I have no idea how or when he got there, but he did. He found his way. So yeah, you can see this hill now. It's like a big, it's where you go for one of the watchtowers actually. And if you remember the other day when, if you've seen the Big Salmon Peak sort of exploration video I did, when you get to the top of there, I was seriously tempted to jump off the top, but somehow I fought the urge because I knew it had just sidetracked the whole exploration video. But yeah, this time I just couldn't resist. As I was already this far along with the Bandit, and I've been testing a few of the tyres out and stuff, I wanted to head up here and yeah, jump off there, see how it goes. That's why I got the loaf on standby, just in case if I don't land well I can send in the professional. I mean, it's motoring along alright. Like there, for example, that's not what I'd consider a deep mud or anything, because it's like just a path going up the mountain. It's pretty nice in that sense. The muds aren't too bad. It's just a shame they troll them so bad on so many areas, especially the fact that yeah, they've added like these kind of maps, and really, I mean, what they gave us 3 vehicles. The forklift is, and I don't dislike the forklift, but it's mostly useless. It's cool if you like, you just, it's better than nothing. It's better to have another vehicle. Every now and then I'll try and use it here and there, but yeah, it's of no real significance to me. The Cat 770G, to be honest, pretty unusable. The fact that it can only have that large rock trailer thing with it. You can't have any like high saddle sideboards or anything like that, so that'll end up being fairly useless. I know it has got the fuel tank option, but so has everything pretty much. Yeah, so I probably won't be sending that in. And then you got this thing, which is a pretty decent truck, but as I've sort of said before, they've just found little ways to kind of nerf it and punish it and make it less good than it could have been. And as you can see now, driving up here, I wanted to obviously get a bit of speed and go flying off this hill. The muds were so bad through that snow that wasn't even that deep. I was going pretty bloody slow the whole way. Finally, the snow kind of calms down in the end. See my little professional over there? He's waiting. Yeah, I mean, when I reverse, it's a little bit more grippy, but it's just, yeah, slow mode. And I can do slow mode myself and just put it in low range. So I don't need the game to be twisting my arm and making me have slow mode. I mean, look at it. That just isn't realistic. It's like 2 inches of snow. I could drive a lowered Lamborghini through there. Yes. Pretty glad I nailed that tree. I have to say, credit where it's due. You know, I'm not a fan of trees, and I'm usually a pretty big fan of killing trees, but to be fair, I took it like a champ. Fortunately, just by pure luck, the Bandit started to tip. I was able to start it up, and you'll see again, I rolled after that, but yeah, one good thing about these tyres is they are quite weighty, so it's kind of trying to pull me over. And if I was on just a purely horizontal flat ground, it'd sit me beyond 90 degrees and I wouldn't be able to start my engine, but because I'm on a pretty steep hill, yeah, the angle of the tyres and the cab or whatever, it was enough that I was able to fire my engine up. And yeah, I was able to drive out of there. It's that tree branch. Just poked my truck. Absolutely no steering. And I hit a tree. So anyway, we're kind of back on track again. In front of me is one of these, what they called wood framing places that going to go and steal someone's house that they've probably spent a lot of time building. It is nice to know that the tradition of finders keepers is still going strong though. Yoink, and we're out of there. Imagine if you could just do that in real life. Someone's midway through a house, you just turn up like, I'll have that. Yeah, I drew my line. You can see which way I was going to go. When I got to here, there's like a T-junction. The way I originally came from was if I turned right there, but then when I looked on the map, this road already looped round back to where I wanted to go anyway. And again, it was just another little, yeah, I was kind of like, oh, we'll see how the tyres go. It's around now already. Kind of regretting it. To be fair, going the other way wouldn't have really made much difference anyway, because they're both snowy routes. They both would have been going this fast regardless. And yeah, this thing does that a lot, where it jumps into second, and it has a serious, like, cut out of power when it jumps back to first, so you get it juddering quite a lot. But yeah, so around now, I'll start to look around, look at my phone, having a look around in the cab, looking at the mirrors. Just looking around, like a fire extinguisher and an escape hatch. Not sure what kind of super wank he's planning, but when you need a fire extinguisher and an escape hatch, it's got to be some pretty serious shit. I mean, yeah, there's nothing I can do. Again, I can go into low range, but it'll just go this slow, if not slower anyway. And like I said, I'd rather those little bursts of speed where at least the accelerator can kind of kick in, or the revs I mean, and give you a little boost as and when the map allows. See, like looking up there, that looks like a perfectly nice drive up there. And then you know you'll go in this thing and it'll, yeah, do this. And like I said, in the end, I brought a dolphin with me because I wanted to see, just make sure I wasn't exaggerating and imagining things. I appreciate though, this map in general, they seem to have added some kind of extra resistance to the whole thing. So like I said, if I was going on, well, I was going to say Black River, that's not got any snow on it. If I went back to say Northport and stuff, there is plenty of places where, well, actually I'll take plenty back, but there probably is places where I could drive through at a normal speed with snow. But for the most part, this thing, it's just weird. Like I said, they added 3 vehicles, 2 of them are 90% useless, and I don't necessarily mean that against the trucks, it's just as far as gameplay and completing things, they're not very useful. And yeah, the one truck they have given us is just not set up well for these kind of maps at all. So this would be a pretty good truck on yeah, Michigan and stuff like that. Oh, this is where so I was going up the hill. As you see, I would have made it up the hill, but I let off on purpose because I wanted to see if this thing would actually claw its way up. Yeah, without a run up, and it's, well, already you can see it's starting to stop now. I wasn't going to mess around and sit there for ages trying it. I already tried with various other vehicles earlier tonight, so I already knew what the situation was. As you can see, I move over, get at least some of your tyres in the snow if you can, then I started just skidding over to this side. There's, even with the barrier there is still a little line of snow I was able to catch just. See there again though, dropped it down into low. It didn't really slow me down, but you could hear the revs die down, and it's just, you're sort of limiting your option, or that's limiting your options. And I appreciate, yeah, it might be a little bit more fuel usage, but I'm really not bothered with fuel, because fuel is just a thing you use in this game. 99% of the time I just plan fuel as part of the thing. It's a little bit like I said with the damage mechanics now. I used to actually attempt to not take a maintenance trailer, or I never used to take a low for me with a roof rack, and I'd try and make it there damage free or whatever. These days it just trolls you so easily with the damage, it's just like, yeah, sod it. I'll just factor it in as part of what I'll need, and it's the same with fuel, so it rarely catches me out. And if it does, it's one of them, I'll just send another truck in. But it honestly doesn't get me that often these days, especially when you take a goddamn professional. So yeah, you can see I climbed over the hill, trolled me. Apparently the cargo disconnected, so it flicked them off at the last second. There's another reason, as much as I do like this flatbed, yeah, having the sideboard, they possibly wouldn't have fell out then, because obviously it's got a little lip around the edge that'll be holding it in. Got yeah, did I take over 100 damage then on my suspension? Like, again, what I was just saying about the damage mechanics, it's just to the point where they're not even worth planning for. It'll just absolutely annihilate your truck, as and when it feels like it. I hit what I assume was a small stick that could have possibly even been a stick insect that was on the road earlier, and that about deleted half of one of my trucks. This thing, I think, actually. Yeah, back here in the same place though, along this snowy bit with the chained, and as you can see, these are not the good chain though, they're not the mud chained. I think they're the all-terrain chained, or off-road chained, but either way, I mean, yeah, I did auto, I believe high range and low range. It's just going slow as heck no matter what. Got to the top of this hill, because when I came up here originally with the muds, I thought, oh god, that's like horrifically bad through there, so I wanted to bring the chain just to see if I could get a bit more of a run up. But yeah, as you can tell, the chain are just as useless anyway. Well, that snow up there is pretty trollish, but it's this truck as well, you'll see. Again, flew off, hit the tree, pretty happy with the result. Well, I thought I'd actually killed the tree then, but it just kind of bent round a bit. Again, I think this tree might be one of the boys in the end. Yeah, this is the point where I thought, right, send in the dolphin. As you can see, behind me was a little maintenance trailer. Yeah, just learn the hard way. And again, to its credit, this thing climbed up there pretty nicely, pretty hassle-free. Oh, there was a glitch there, not an edit, but yeah, I reversed up because I didn't quite make the turn in time. The dolphin, though, did get caught in this bit. If I was going to just go again, I could drive down at a bit more of an angle, but all I did, there was a lamppost opposite me, so just stuck a winch on it, pulled my way out of there, and yeah, we're good to go. So this is the section again that I just took the Bandit with the muds and the chain through, and it was just stuck in slow mode. It was basically stuck in low range speed no matter what. Where you can see now, at the start, I was already able to wind it up into high. This is going a lot quicker. Yes, it is using a lot more fuel, probably about a good 2 to 3 times the amount of fuel, although I am in high at the minute. But yeah, I'd say I was going 2 or 3 times faster, so distance for fuel-wise was probably not too different. Eventually, it did bog down a little bit, so I went down into auto, but you can see it still had more urgency and purpose to it. I put the other bumper on this Dolphin, by the way. In the exploration video, I jumped over that train bit, and the bumper dug in on the other side. But yeah, now I've switched it back to what I would say is the best bumper. It seems to catch the least. And yeah, jumped over there just fine. A little horse of a vehicle. I think I might have edited it out in the end, just because this video is going to be pretty long for what it is, but when I was driving up there in the chain, the Bandit flipped, hit some tiny little stone and flipped, so of course sent in the horse. He handled it in seconds. It's funny actually watching these two tonight, because I would have said originally that the Dolphin's steering is probably worse than the Bandit, but I really don't think it is. Or not worse, I was going to say like a wider turning circle. This doesn't have the issue with understeering on top of that. But yeah, the Bandit overall, I don't think made it round that corner at least one of the times. It was a bit iffy with this one as well. Like the Dolphin, to its credit, is the steering is slow, certainly slower than the Bandit. The Bandit does steer pretty quick. It's just that doesn't really mean a lot if the steering doesn't dig in and do anything. It just looks good, but not really a lot happening. Like, yeah, trying to steer on a frozen lake or something. You can put the effort in, but it probably ain't going to do a lot. And to be fair, I did actually get bogged down a little bit in that top little peak, but you can see, overall, the Dolphin was able to motor up here better and quicker through the snow. And, yeah, so we went for a jump. Good old times. God damn it. Missed that tree. Hit another one. Thought I'd got away with it then. Thought, oh, yes. And then, no. Got a bad landing. Ain't got us. I did actually do another jump off there, but then the footage didn't save, and I didn't realise until I was editing this, but fortunately, I did 2 goes. Nice little drift there. Watch my tyres now. Turning left, turning left, turning... Nothing. Not even a hint of being able to steer left. I was full lock for over a second, I would say, there. And, yeah, went flat out into the post. Seems like I may have damaged my wrist slightly. Something ain't looking good with me. I'll have to use that escape hatch. Yeah, you can see me driver. He didn't do too well from that. Well, he's kind of reappeared, but now his head is sticking through the door. Pretty sure that's not how it's supposed to go. In Russia, door opens you. I was trying to see if I could see my own head. That's what she said. Eventually, though, I've made the driver wrap himself around his own legs and all sorts of stuff, but he actually popped out by himself, and he's back. Yeah, I edited some of this out because honestly, it was about 4 minutes to put those pallets on, and I wouldn't even say what I was doing. I couldn't shave a whole lot of time off it because it was like drive up, lower the forks, you know, back out the menu, drive under it. I did everything like that I'd need to do every step, so I maybe could have shaved 30 seconds off if that out of 4 minutes, but yeah, forklift horrifically slow, crane 10-15 seconds, pretty simple. And yeah, that was an easy job, made harder, just for the hell of it. That was definitely what she said. Anyway though, that's about it for today. I hope you enjoyed, I hope it helps. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon.